Okay, so today we will discuss transparent firewall. So the thing is, if we change the firewall mode as a transparent firewall, so what happens if you got a new ASA box in your organization? By default, it is configured as a routed mode. Okay, so if you need to configure that firewall in a transparent mode, then you need to run a command. Okay, for that. So that command basically change the firewall mode into transparent mode. Okay. So in transparent mode, basically ASA act as a layer 2 bridge or layer 2 switch device. Okay. Also known as a stealth firewall or bump in the wire. I will explain what is the bump in the wire. Okay. ARP table and routing table is used for traffic to and from ASA, means it uses the ARP table and routing table to forward the traffic. Okay. We can change that firewall mode by running this command, firewall, after that the transparent keyword. Okay, that's it. So the thing is, let me go to my topology here. Okay, so the thing is, what happens, let's suppose we have this kind of network previously. This is our ASA firewall or core router. Okay, this core router have a connection with the internet, ISP. After that we have a L3 switch or core switch, and below this switch we have a access layer switch. Okay, these are the access layer switch. So access layer switch are the switches where basically we connect end host, right? So like these are the end host, end users like you. Okay, these are the end users, and maybe these are also the servers. Okay, so here we have these end users and server. So what happens, right? And let's suppose these are the servers. Okay, so if they want to send the traffic towards the internet, so they send in this way, right? That is the way. So let's suppose this is a router only. So the thing is, we don't have any firewall, right, in our network. So the thing is, we are not getting any kind of firewalling. We can't apply any kind of firewalling things. Okay. Let's suppose this is a ASA firewall running in L3 mode, means running in routed mode. The thing is, if let's suppose in this ASA firewall, we just open some kind of ports, okay, and if someone launches the attack on this one, is like someone trying to launch the attack on this server, let's suppose. So first he compromise our ASA firewall. Okay, so he launched the attack on ASA firewall. So let's suppose this ASA firewall is not able to detect that particular attack which is going through this ASA towards this server. So what happens in that cases, sometime for extra layer of security, we put one more firewall. Okay, in our case, which is ASA in transparent mode. Okay, so let's suppose we are having the IP address 1.1.1. here /24 on this interface, and we are having one IP address on this interface 1.1.2/24. Okay, so what is the benefit to using that transparent firewall? Basically, it provides an extra layer of security. It adds one extra layer of security here. We can write the rule in this firewall as well. Okay, and also we don't need to change our IP address schemes. This is a like bump in the wire, means we just cut this wire and we just insert one interface of this wire with the ASA outside interface. Okay, and one interface of this wire with the inside interface of ASA. We don't need to assign any IP address on these two interfaces. Okay, we only need one IP address to configure for whole firewall. Okay, so let's suppose this is our, so maybe this we can configure one IP address, this IP address. Okay, on this firewall only. That's it. We are done. After that, we can write the policies, we can configure the net, whatever we want, we can configure. Okay. So now thing is, how basically we can use in actual environment. So let's suppose this is ISP, which is connected with my ASA firewall. Okay, and this is a outside. This is my inside, and this is my DMZ. In DMZ, I am having these kind of switches. Not switches, these kind of servers. Okay. So let's suppose I am having 4 servers here. Okay. And here I have inside users. Okay. So what happens? And these are the internet users. So we want to give the access to inside internet users towards our DMZ servers, because we are hosting these servers publicly. Okay. So what happens now here? Let's suppose we also have 100 inside users. So the thing is, from like high security level to low security level, all the traffic is allowed by default, right? You know that thing. So there is a chance maybe someone from your inside network try to launch the attack, because nowadays lots of attacks happens from the inside network only. Okay. So the thing is, how we can prevent in that case if someone try to launch the attack from inside, because we don't have any kind of security from inside to DMZ, right? So what we do in that case, we basically put one firewall here in transparent mode. Okay. So the thing is, and we just write the policy over there. So if anyone going from inside to DMZ, because for this firewall, this is a outside interface and this is an inside interface, right? So what happens now? This firewall is allowed the traffic which is going from inside to DMZ, but when the traffic going from this when the traffic passing with this firewall, so this is for this firewall, it's like outside to inside. So the thing is, now this firewall apply all the policies, right? So that is the main benefit of using transparent firewall. Okay. It protect our servers from inside users as well as from outside users. From outside user, you know that, like if this firewall miss, right? If this firewall miss a particular attack, that time we have one more layer or one more firewall for giving us that same kind of protection, right? Because we need to protect our servers. Maybe these servers having lots of critical information. Okay. So that is the use case of our transparent firewall. Any doubt on that? Otherwise, I'll just move into the next topic, like next topic on a transparent firewall. Cool. Comparison of firewall modes. Okay. So this is a comparison between routed mode and transparent mode. Okay. So in transparent mode, it can forward the non-IP packet as well, means non-IP traffic. In case of routed, it only able to forward the IP inspection. Okay. No readdressing is needed, means we don't need to change our IP address schemes. Okay. If we put the routed firewall, in that case, we need to change the IP addresses, right? We need to change whole IP schemes. So that is also one more benefit. Okay. I'm not touching the 8.3 below 8.3. Okay. So in 8.4 and above, we have a like bridge group. So the thing is, what happens in bridge group, we can put like multiple interface, like we can put 4 interface in one bridge group, and we can put another 4 interface in another bridge group. Okay. So in case of router, we can use all the interfaces. all ASA features are available. In this case, in routed mode, we can configure all the ASA features. Okay, but the thing is, when we convert the ASA into transparent mode, that time we are not able to configure any kind of routing protocol. Like we can't run the RIP, we can't run EIGRP, we can't run OSPF, we can't run BGP. Okay, we can't configure this transparent firewall as a DHCP relay agent. We can't configure this firewall dynamic DNS resolution. Okay, we can't configure multicasting. Multicasting means it is not supported multicast routing. Okay, like ISIS, that kind of protocol, it is not supported in that case. It also not support the quality of service feature. Okay, it also not support the VPN traffic. We can't configure the IPsec site-to-site VPN or IPsec remote access VPN and SSL VPN on transparent mode. Okay, so these are the features which is not available in transparent mode. Remember this thing. This is the like most important question also in an interview. They definitely ask what kind of features or what kind of capabilities we lose when we convert our firewall in transparent mode. Okay. So the thing is, when this transparent firewall do the traffic forwarding, so basically it uses the ARP request. Okay. So the thing is, you know, everyone aware about the ARP, right? What is the use case of ARP? Do you guys have any idea on ARP? Otherwise, I need to explain because it's a switching concept. So I'll give you the one brief information regarding this ARP. Okay. Let's suppose this is my sure. So let's suppose this is my inside user. Okay, and this user want to send some traffic towards the Google. Okay, so what happens? First, this firewall send the traffic towards his gateway, right? Gateway means where we put the default gateway in our system, right? Let's suppose default gateway is 10.1.1.251. So the thing is, what happens when he just try to send any kind of traffic towards the default gateway? So what happens? It is not aware about the MAC address of this default gateway. Okay, so ARP is a address resolution protocol, means it basically resolved the IP address and IP address into MAC. Means for this IP address, it resolved the what is the MAC address. Okay, because the thing is for layer 2, all the forwarding happen on the basis of MAC address only. Okay, so what happens now when this? So first, basically, he send one ARP request. Okay, towards the gateway. How he send this ARP request? He just create this packet in this way only. He put his MAC address. Let's suppose MAC address of this guy is all A. Okay, I'm just taking one example. So he put A, and he just ARP is a broadcast packet. So he put the broadcast L2 address. This is a broadcast L2 address. Okay. After that, he also put the his source IP. Let's suppose this guy having IP address 10.1.1.100 and the IP address of particular guy like ASA 251. Okay, so when this guy received this ARP table, after that he just reply, and in reply basically he give his MAC address. Okay, it's a like ARP reply. So the thing is these fields are same for the reply. Okay, only the thing is this is a source IP in that case, which are when the packet going from this guy to this guy. This is a destination IP. Okay, after that the destination becomes source and source become destination, and all FF become the he put his source MAC address here and destination MAC address is AA when he send the reply. This is ARP. Okay. And also one more thing here. When this guy try to send any traffic towards this guy. So let's suppose this guy having the IP address 10.1.1.1 and this is having IP address 10.1.1.2. So when he send any traffic towards this guy, first he resolve the IP address because it's a like L2 domain only, right? So in L2, in layer 2, all the forwarding happens on the basis of MAC address, right? So he send one ARP packet towards the other host, okay? That guy 10.1.1.2. He is just trying to resolve the. So the thing is packet format is similar. So let me design this packet format. You got the better idea. So like 10.1.1.1. This is a packet going from this. This is a like ARP packet, okay? ARP request towards the 10.1.1.2 and source MAC is, let's suppose it is having MAC address all A, okay? So you put all A here and you put all F here. This is a like source IP, destination IP, source MAC and destination MAC. It's a broadcast MAC address, okay? So the thing is, let's suppose we also have one more guy here. This is having IP address 10.1.1.3. So whatever, it's a broadcast packet. So when this packet reaches towards this switch, so this switch do the forwarding on all the interfaces except the interface where he received. So he just switch this forward this packet into this guy towards this guy as well. Okay. So the thing is, in destination IP, we already mentioned the IP address, right? So this guy give the reply. So here I just create the reply packet. So like reply coming from 10.1.1.2 to 10.1.1.1 and let's suppose this guy having the MAC address which is all B, okay? So BB and so this is a source MAC and this is a destination MAC. Okay, it's a source IP, it's a destination IP. That is the like ARP reply packet which is coming from this 10.1.1.2 towards 10.1.1. Now I think ARP is clear to you guys, right? Back to here. So when the thing is, if the destination is on the local subnet, sends an ARP request to force the destination to reply. Means local subnet means they have like directly connected. Same subnet means, okay, they are belong to in same subnet, like same network, like all the guys having the IP address in same range, like 10.1.1.0 range /24 range only, okay. After that, it also send the ping request. If the destination is on the remote network means the thing is, let's suppose we also have here one more network DMZ, okay, and we have one switch here. After that we have one server like 10.2.2.100/24, okay. Or that concept also work here in that case. Let's suppose, so this is our 10.1.1.0/24 network and this is our 10.1.2.0/24 network, okay. And I am also having some users here. So the thing is, if this guy want to send some traffic towards this guy, so this is a like remote subnet, okay. send an ICMP echo request with the TTL value 1. These are the like default rules. ARP packet are permitted to pass through in both the direction without using any ACLs. Okay, so means it basically it can send the ARP request, that firewall all in that firewall also, or ARP request by default allowed. Okay, from in to out and out to in by default. Broadcast and multicast packets are not permitted unless explicitly permitted by ACLs. Means all the broadcast and multicast packets are not allowed. For that we need to open one ACLs. Okay. Routed non-IP traffic can be permitted using Ether type ACL. Means non-IP traffic means the traffic which is related to layer 2 only. Okay. If we want to get control over that layer 2 traffic, that time we can write the layer 2 ACLs or Ether type ACLs. Okay. So it's a like format for writing Ether type ACL, access list, the name, then define Ether type, permit and deny. We can define the protocol, example like BPDU, IPv6 and MPLS. So this is a like configuration. So let me start the configuration. This is my outside. Okay. This is my inside network. I will show you the configuration part, how we can configure the transparent firewall. Okay. If you got any kind of requirement that time, let me directly go into my firewall. We use this command to say our firewall running on which mode. So it is running on router mode right now, right? So how that this is the command to change the firewall mode into transparent. So like disabling auto import may affect smart licensing, creating trust point, and installing the certificate. Okay. So show firewall. Now my firewall running in transparent mode. Okay. So I'll just set the name ASA in transparent mode, means ASAT. So interface IPv6. So now the thing is, we need to configure only one IP address. Remember this thing. Okay. So how we configure the IP address? We just create some base group. Okay. So interface VVI. Okay. So we can create around 250 VVI interfaces in one firewall. Okay. So I'll just give the number to this interface 100. It's like layer 2 interface. After you can see, you can use the question mark here. You can see the idea. Okay. So now if you want to configure the IP address, you just use here. Okay. Here you can configure the IP address 10.1.1. I'm using here 250. After I'll define my subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay, and I can try to run this. No, we don't have any no set command here. Okay, now I'll just go to inside my interface Ethernet gig 0/0. So interface IP, please let me check. I having this Giga Ethernet 0/0. So interface Giga 0/0 member. It's not a member. Okay, we directly call here bridge group. So we have just add bridge group is 100, right? Now the thing is now my interface Ethernet 0/0 become a part of this bridge group, which is bridge group 100. Okay. After we can define here name f. Name f is inside. So the thing is, it's not inside, it's outside. Okay. So let me change the name f value to outside. I'll set the security level to outside as 0. I run this no set command. I'll like that if I'll change this so interface IP read. You are able to see I'm having 10.1.1.250 in my VBI interface, and this interface also having the same IP address. Okay, because this interface become a part of this bridge VBI. Okay, bridge group 100. So now let me also configure my inside interface, so which is Giga 0/1 bridge group 100. Here I'll just configure my name if is inside. Security level is 100 and no set. So interface IP brief. Now you are able to see like we have bridge group, like similar bridge group, right? Same IP address on both interfaces. Okay, so that is the thing how we can configure the IP address, or how we can configure the interfaces on transparent firewall. Okay, now let me add one default route outside 00. And so let's suppose IP address of this guy is 10.1.1.1. Okay, so I have added one default route as well to this guy. I am done with my configuration in my firewall now. Okay, we will see the ACL and all later. So now let me configure this guy, this outside. Okay, this is my outside router. First name outside interface F0/0. So shut down IP address which is 10.1.1.1 255.255.255.0. Let me configure some loopback interfaces as well. So we use these interfaces for trying to ping and all, for doing the ping and all. Okay. I'll configure the telnet as well. Password, Cisco, and login, local. I'll add one username here, username Cisco, password Cisco. I also define here privilege 15. IP, HTTP, server. I am done with my configuration in my outside router. Okay. So I'm just saving that configuration. Let me initiate a ping. I am able to ping the firewall interface on 250. So I am able to ping means I have done the correct configuration yet. Now let me configure these two hosts. Okay. I'll give the name inside like R1. Interface of 0/0. No set. IP address which is 10.101.100.255.255.255.0. After it, I'll put one default route which is pointing towards my ASA firewall. Not ASA, which is pointing towards my core router, which is this one. Okay. So 10.1.1.1. I have done with the configuration on this guy. Now let me configure this one. The host name inside R2 interface at 0/0. Shut down. IP address 10.1.1.101.255.255.255.0. I'll just add one route. So let me copy that same route from here and paste it over there. So this is the like command to see the ARP table. So ARP. Okay. Show ARP. So the thing is, this is R2 having IP address 10.1.1, 10.1.1.101. So this is R2. If this guy want to send any traffic towards this guy, first he need to resolve. First the ARP resolution happens. Okay. So how? Let me initiate some traffic towards 10.1.1.100. So the thing is here, one packet is dropped. Basically, this packet is dropped due to ARP only. Okay. If I'll check here, so ARP. Now I am having the ARP table, right? For this one. If I'll again ping, now I am just pinging without any drop. So that is the like verification. If we are going to communicate over L2, definitely there is a ARP resolution happens. Okay, remember, if you check here, you are not having any ARP entry for firewall IP, right? If I initiate a ping towards my firewall 250, one drop is here, right? If you check here now, ARP table, now I am having one IP address on ARP, right? One MAC address on ARP. So the thing is, basically ARP used for IP to MAC resolution, IP address to MAC address resolution in for layer 2 communication. Okay. If you see this guy, so what? This guy having the ARP request of this guy, because when this R2 try to ping this R1, that time basically he also need to send the reply, right? He got the request, now he just send the reply. So the thing is, for when he send any reply, so he also need to resolve the ARP. Okay. So the thing is this, R1 not having the any ARP entry for firewall IP. Okay. So if I ping the firewall 10.1.1.250, I check the ARP. Now I got the ARP, right, regarding this one. So that is the way how ARP resolution happens. Okay. Remember this point here. The most important thing is here. Let's suppose if I see the routing table of this guy, or it is like this concept also apply on your system as well. Okay, because in your system you have one default gateway, means the thing is same concept apply on this router and that gateway on your system. This is having one default gateway because it is having default route. It is like similar which is available in your default gateway in your system. Okay, the thing is, if this router send any kind of traffic, so he send this kind of traffic towards this guy only apart from this network. Okay, apart from this network, if this router initiate any kind of traffic, basically that traffic first goes to till this router, because this is a next hop for this one. Okay, so the thing is, if I check my ARP table, I am not having ARP entry for my default gateway, right, or for my next hop. So the thing is, if I let me send the telnet traffic now towards 8.8.8. So I got the access, right? Cisco, and password is also Cisco. What happened? I'm putting wrong username and password, I hope. No worries. The thing is, I'm getting access. Okay. I'll check. So ARP, if I'll see the ARP table here, now I have ARP for this one also. Right. So the thing is, first ARP resolution happen in case of L2. Okay. So the thing is, this is inside and this is outside. I am having 8.8.8 and 4.2.2 network in this guy. Okay. The thing is, when this router send any traffic, so the thing is, when he send any kind of TCP traffic and UDP traffic, by default our firewall allowed this traffic, right? As you know, from high security level to low security level, right? By default it do the inspection for TCP and UDP. Okay, so the thing is, if I ping 8.8.8 with a repeat count of 1000, see, I'm not getting, because when ICMP traffic, ICMP traffic, like from this place to, oh god, let me select this one. So the thing is, when ICMP traffic going from inside to outside, that ICMP, so first he send the ICMP request, right? This is a ICMP request packet. So the thing is ICMP request is allowed, okay, from inside to outside. But the thing is when ICMP reply come, that is basically denied on this interface. Okay, now I am just taking one more case here. If this guy is sending any telnet traffic towards this one, okay, like this is a TCP traffic on port number 22, means telnet. So when this guy will get the reply, so the thing is this firewall have the connection table, right, for TCP and UDP. So the thing is he check the connection table, he just allow this traffic, because in case of ICMP it's a like connectionless protocol. So the thing is this firewall not have any connection on connection table, that's why. So the thing is if we are going to allow the ICMP, we need to open ACL, right, to bypass some checks, to bypass that security level check. Okay, so now let me open one access rule for ICMP. Okay, so this is my ASA firewall. Not this one. Yeah, I also have this guy. So as soon as I open the ACL, okay, on my outside interface, that ping start working. Access list out in interface. Sorry, access list out permit ICMP from any to any. Okay, so I have created my ACL. Now let me apply this access list. So access group out in interface outside. See, ping is stop working as soon as I have applied this ACL. Okay, so if you are going to allow the ICMP traffic, means if you just want to allow the ICMP like that ping traffic, trace route traffic, for that you need to open one access list. Always remember this thing. Every organization want that kind of setup, that ICMP must be allowed from in to out and out to in. Same case with the trace route also. Do you know why we use trace route? Any idea on that? Why we use ping? Let me first send the trace route, okay? Trace RT to 8.8.8.8. Or if I'll let this complete. Okay, after that I will show you trace route in my system. Okay, that will give you more information. CMD. After I will tell you the meaning of trace route and ping. So the command in router, which is trace route, in command in our Windows system, it's trace RT. Okay, so let me trace the google.com. So the thing is when we are going to trace any particular destination, that time we got the hop by hop information. Okay, so here I am getting hop by hop information because this is IPv6 address, because lots of guys using that IPv6 address, that's why I am getting. Okay, so let me do this for IPv4 address. So let me type here IPv4. That makes sense. So like that result goes till 30 hops maximum. So this is my first hop. This is the IP address of my home router, okay, or home broadband router. After that, maybe this is IP address which is configured somewhere, which is connected with my home. That is another IP address, okay. So I will tell you the thing. These star means some, like let's suppose this is maybe a firewall, because firewall not show his identity. That's why you are getting a star here. Okay, here also you are getting one star. That's why, because our ASA also not shown any kind of identity. When any TT and that when I trace out request basically forwarded by the ASA, it not decrease the TTL value, so we can't see any kind of that IP address and all there. Okay, so now I will tell you the meaning of trace route. Let's suppose we have one router here, one router here, one router here, one router here. Okay, one router here, one router here, and this is your system. And we have one server here having IP address 8.8.8.8. Okay, so if we want to check the reachability, this particular server is reachable or not. So the thing is, this router send this request towards this guy forward this request towards this guy forward request towards this guy, right? That is the like hope by hope communication. Okay, so that ping request reaches towards this guy. If this firewall is available, he give the reply, right? So reply also come in the same way, from this to this, this to this, this to this, in this way, right? And we get the reply. So we use ping to check the connectivity. Okay, now let me explain you the. Now we are going to discuss the trace route. Okay, trace route means, let's suppose this server is available. Let's suppose this router have problems. This router got down. So the thing is, how we can check the path, which is this is the path for reaching this IP address. Like if this route goes down, so we send so what happens, we just initiate a trace route command in our system. Okay, the thing is that tracer goes this, so this tracer goes to this router, after this router, after this router. Okay, so when trace router goes to this router send the reply. When request goes to this router, he also send one reply. When request reach this one also send the reply. When request goes to this guy also give the reply. When request goes to this guy is not available, right? So we can't. So what happens? We don't get any kind of reply, right? So that thing is, what we do, we get the unreachable message in that case. Okay, the thing is, we know there is a problem in our path. That is the way how we can find out which device having problem in our path. Okay, that is the only way to find out that thing. Okay, let's back to our topic now. So what is the next topic which I can explain you in transparent mode? So the thing is, maybe the configuration little bit different with because I'm running latest versions only. Okay, this is a configuration related to old versions. Okay, so this is a like this configuration valid for you. Like first we create a interface, that bridge group interface. We just assign the IP address on that interface. After we just assign the interface to this particular bridge group. That is the way to assign these interfaces. We also set the name value. Okay, each bridge group can function as an independent transparent firewall. Okay, so now what is the use case of having bridge groups or B-way interfaces? Let's suppose in our case I am having one more network. Okay, let's suppose I am having one more switch here. Let's suppose I am having here DMG switch. Okay, so I have connected this one. So this is a like BVI 100 network. Okay, and let's suppose this is a BBI 200. So this is a like switch 1. This switch also connected with that some of my servers. Okay, like server 1, server 2 and server 3. So what happens now? This BBI is a one transparent firewall, and this BBI is another transparent firewall. So the thing is, now we are just dividing our transparent firewall into multiple BBI interfaces. So it basically become a two logical units now, and we can like configure all the things in these two logical units now. Okay. So these are the like requirements how we are going to configure our firewall. Okay. It depends on your requirement and your network topology, how you are going to implement that kind of stuff there. Each bridge group can have 2 to 4 interfaces. Means in each group we can put around minimum 2 interface and maximum 4 interface. Because we need at least 2 interfaces for like sending the traffic in and out, right? We need one inside and one outside. Or we can put like 4 interfaces, like if we want to also like put our DMZ network in the same way, that thing we can also do. It depends on your requirement. Okay. Up to eight bridge group can be defined. We can configure 8 BVI interfaces in our firewall. Okay. Each bridge group can handle 4 zones. Means we can configure only 4 zones. Okay. In each bridge group. Traffic cannot pass from one bridge group to another bridge group internally. Means we can't send the traffic from this bridge group, like this is one bridge group. This is my another bridge group. So that communication is not allowed. Okay. We can't send the traffic like this. Okay. So the thing is, if we have a bridge group like one more DMZ interface, so what we do, like this is our DMZ, this is our DMZ interface. So we can put this DMZ as well in the same BWay interface. So this is our inside view, this is our DMZ, and this is my outside. Okay, it works fine in that case. So the thing is, if we want to, there is that communication is possible, but it is not possible through internally. That communication is possible with this guy. So what happened? This guy send the traffic towards this router. After traffic comes into this firewall and go like this. This is possible. Okay. We have configured like 10.1.1.250. We also configure that IP address for enabling the IP stack. Okay. Because we need to configure the routing. We are also configuring L3 and L3 access list NAT on that transparent firewall. So for that kind of stuff, we always configure one IP address, which is a management IP, or the thing is we need one IP for enabling the IP stack. Okay. Management functions such as IEEE server and syslog server are common to all the bridge groups. Means we are having IEEE services and syslog servers. For that thing, that is like similar for all the bridge groups. Okay. We also have a like ARP inspection on this firewall. So the thing is designed to mitigate the ARP spoofing attacks. Means what is the ARP spoofing attack? Anyone aware of the ARP spoofing? I'll tell you the ARP spoofing. What is ARP spoofing? Okay. Because this transient firewall is also like prevent us from the, let's suppose we have one PC here. And let's suppose this is the attacker PC. This is the attacker. Okay. We are having IP address 10.10.1.100 on this firewall, 10.1.1.101 on this router, and 10.1.1.102 on this one. Okay. And let's suppose attacker having IP address this one, 10.1.1.103. What happened? Let's suppose this guys try to send some traffic towards this guy. You know, first ARP resolution happens. Okay. And ARP is a broadcast packet. So the thing is, when this guy send the ARP packet towards this switch, so what happens? When this firewall send the ARP request, okay, this switch basically forward this request towards this guy, towards this guy, towards this guy as well, right? So what happens? This is attacker. Okay. So what happened? He used some kind of there is a lots of applications also available in the market. So he used these kind of applications, and what he do? Basically, he give the reply. He give the reply on the basis of this guy. Okay, this attacker present himself as this IP address 10.1.1.101. So this guy got the IP address. Now what happens? Now he just send the actual traffic to the attacker, right? So now the thing is, that is the way how the IP, that ARP spoofing attack happens in the network. Okay, so that kind of attacks also prevent by our firewall. Okay, our, our firewall protect us in such kind of cases. Okay, it basically support that ARP inspection. Okay, so the thing is, in that case which I have explained, that traffic is not going through our firewall, right? So in that case, our firewall is not able to protect us. In our case, our example only, because in switch also we have a ARP spoofing concept. Okay, so this is a L2 security technique. Okay, so in switch also we can configure ARP spoofing. Okay, so that basically prevent us in that kind of scenario. Okay, I'm just giving you one example over there. Okay, now let me configure how our firewall prevent us from ARP spoofing. Okay, that concept is same. So let me delete this scenario now. Let's suppose this is this guy 10.1.1.100. So this is my server. Okay, having the IP address 8.8.8.8. This is attacker. Okay, what happens now? This router send the traffic towards this server. So this is like ARP request, which is going through our firewall now, right? So let's suppose this is a switch. This is not a router. Let's suppose this is a L3 switch. Okay, for some time only. So the thing is, he receives that ARP request, right? He just forward this request over this guy and over this guy also. What happens? Now this guy give the reply. Okay, so if we have enabled the ARP spoofing on our firewall, like if we enable that ARP inspection on our firewall, that time our firewall our firewall is aware about the IP address, that MAC address of this guy. So if some other guy like give the ARP reply, so the thing is, he just do the inspection on these packets as well, this particular ARP reply packet, and if he find out the different MAC address, in that time he just drop this packet when this packet going through this interface only, here only. Okay, so now our firewall also prevent us from the ARP inspection, that ARP spoofing attack. Okay, any question on ARP spoofing now? Anyone? Nadeem, Prajwal, and Santosh, anyone have any doubt on that? Otherwise, I'll just move forward.
I don't understand, sir.
That's why you have to ask, right, man? You have understand the previous scenario.
Yes.
So it's like similar scenario, man. So let me clear it little bit. Okay. These are the like security techniques only. Okay. Let's suppose. Okay. Let's suppose I am having a switch here, not router. Okay. Because I just need to. So this is attacker. Okay. And this is my actual server. 8.8.8.8. This is my actual server. Okay. And what happened? This guy try to send some traffic towards this server. So you know, like ARP resolution happens every time, right? So what happens? ARP resolution, in ARP resolution, basically ARP is a broadcast packet. Broadcast means like if this is a switch, if he receives any broadcast on this interface, he's basically, and he is having 4 interface, he just forward this packet on all the interfaces. It's a broadcast means it do the broadcasting. Okay. So what happens when our let me take another color. When our packet goes towards this guy, till this guy, so you just send the broadcast to this guy and this guy. So the thing is, both guys replied, right? This guy also replied with the ARP reply, and this guy also replied with the ARP reply. Because this is a attacker, okay? He is only sitting for doing that kind of malicious activities. ARP reply. Okay, what happens? Let's suppose first this guy replying very quick. So the thing is, that ARP reply packet reached to this guy. So now the thing is, if he get the reply from attacker, so now he starts sending all the traffic towards that attacker, right? So what happens if we have enabled the ARP inspection on our firewall? In that case, basically, because the thing is, this is of my firewall, so the thing is, my firewall is aware about this server and the MAC address of this server also, and he just save this IP address of this server and MAC address of this server in ARP table. Okay, so when he get the reply, okay, from the attacker, he just match the IP address and the MAC address. So the thing is, he find different MAC address, right? Because attacker uses the different MAC address. Okay, because not like both device cannot have the same MAC address, you know that thing, right? So the thing is, it is using different MAC address. So what happens now? Now he has to drop this ARP reply at this place only. Only he allow the actual ARP reply. Okay, not the any kind of like bad ARP reply or bogus ARP reply. Now you got the idea. Or you need me to? I need to explain one more time.
It's good, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Because the thing is, Mahendra also teach you that kind of stuff. Because I think he is not complete the switching part, right? That these are the switching concept only, these ARP and all. Okay. So the thing is, these are the switching technologies. So the thing is, my job, how I can like provide the security to these switching technologies. Okay. So the thing is, when we have enabled the ARP inspection on firewall, ESA compares IP address, MAC address, and interface in all the ARP packets to static entries. Static entries mean we just put one manual entry on the firewall, okay, in the ARP table and take action as below. So the thing is, he just compare the IP address, MAC address, and interface. Okay. So the thing is, if he is getting the reply from the actual destination, then only he just allow this packet. If he got that reply from any other guy, any bad guy, or any attacker guy, he just drop this packet. Okay. So if the IP address, MAC address, and source interface match any entry, the packet is passed. Means if these three parameter is matches, in that case he just allow that kind of ARP reply packet. Okay. If there is a mismatch in IP address, MAC address, or interface, the packet is dropped. That is the straightforward action taken by the ASA. Okay. If the ARP packet does not match any of the static entries, then ASA can be set to either forward the packet out the all ports or drop it. So the thing is, forwarding means flood and drop means no flood. So let me tell you one thing over there. So the thing is, let's suppose this is my server and this is attacker. Okay. And this guy send the ARP reply. Now whole story based on ARP reply only. Okay. So this is a like 8.8.8.8 and this is the attacker. Okay. The thing is, if we don't enable the ARP reply here, like ARP inspection on this firewall, so what happen in that case? ASA not having any entry regarding this IP, right? And the MAC address and the interface. Okay. So what happens if attacker give the reply? He just pass this traffic. In case of flood means basically ASA receives the request on this interface. Let's suppose ASA also having this interface as well. This is like DMZ interface. So basically now ASA just flood on to this interface as well on this interface. In case of flood, we have these two things here, flood and no flood. In case of no flood, if we are configuring no flood, in that case basically if we got that kind of reply packet which are not having listed on the ARP table, for that he just dropped that packet. So meaning of flood means it flooded over all the interfaces. No flood means if the match is not like if it not matches any entries in the ARP table, basically he drop in case of no flood. Okay, it is also known as a like strict, and it is known as a loose. Okay. This is like configuration how we can add a static ARP entry in our ARP table. Like ARP, after that we define the name of main interface. We also need to define the IP address and MAC address. Okay, that is the way how we can enable the ARP inspection. Like ARP inspection, we define the name of value, we enable, and after we need to also define the action like flood, no flood. Default action is flood. Okay. We can disable the MAC learning by running this command. ASA will not learn MAC address dynamically, adding a static entry to the MAC address table. Okay. So that is the command to add the MAC address statically. Okay. This is the like verification command. So ARP inspection. So MAC address table. For changing MAC address table, aging time, this one. To clear the MAC address, we run this command. Okay. This is the like route lookup thing. In case of traffic generated from ASA, in case of net rules enable and one. So these are the like very high level overview. So don't try to understand these things, because that is enough only. Okay. If you are aware about these things, like what is the meaning of flood, what is the meaning of no flood. Okay. That is enough. this is like related to, so these are like another topic, virtual concept, virtual context. So we will start this topic tomorrow. Okay, so type of context, we will discuss everything on that. After that we will see the lab on that as well. Okay, so that is the end of this transparent firewall topic. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.